This question is from Jim Horton. Respect your opinion on crypto. Have you done a deep dive into, I'm not going to say, he's asking about a project built on Pulsechain. Would be interested to get your thoughts. Thanks. Well, thank you for the question. I always like to reference back to the .com era, when you basically had the internet coming to the forefront. The internet was new, and the idea of building a business on the internet seemed extremely promising. And you basically had this speculative bubble where all the projects that claimed that they were building on the internet, that they had an internet business, they basically added .com to the ticker, and everybody, including institutional investors and retail investors, FOMO'd in and drove it to extremely high valuations, only to crash within a year or two. Maybe 5 to 10 projects, including Amazon, Google, eBay, were able to really come out with a thriving business model, while the other ones all went under and left their shareholders wrecked. The same thing happened in the 2018 bull market. You basically had these new cryptos. They got a white paper. Maybe they did a little AMA on Telegram. They had some YouTube videos, the founders. They had a nice website. Many of them were scams. Many of them just got listed on exchanges, and completely pulled the rug out from under their token holders and never came back. And many of them just didn't make it. And if you look at the projects that made it through 2 bull markets, the only ones that I could think of are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, Cardano, and Doge. Those were the only ones that during the 2018 bull market, they had a huge run up and they had hundreds, if not thousands of X's. And then during the 2020 bull market, they made higher highs. There's absolutely pretty much no regulation. Anybody could create an ERC-20 and a white paper and just go public. So within crypto, there's the chance that something is just a straight up scam or a rug pull, just because in general, scams and rug pulls are extremely frequent. Then you have, even if it's not a scam or rug pull, the likelihood of making it is extremely low. Not only in startups and tech companies, but even more so in cryptocurrency. Then you also have the fact that right now there is a founder who has a proven track record. That obviously is Richard Hart with Hex. And then you have the same founder with a proven track record coming out with 2 new projects. And everyone talks about the excitement of projects being new and having better price performance. It's usually not true, actually. In the case of most cryptos, the newest projects generally don't do well. But if they are one of those cryptos that have product market fit in a community and last over a long period of time, they will perform better in their early stages than in later years, just due to the fact that as an asset matures, it becomes a safer investment, but at the same time, the price appreciation slows down. So it's a trade-off of risk and reward. With the upcoming launch of Pulsechain, you see there are a lot of developers out there that are building on Pulsechain, and they're coming to the Hex community, and they are essentially trying to pitch their project. And a lot of people are captivated by the idea that these things are new projects. What people don't understand is that while an immature asset generally outperforms in its earlier cycles than its later cycles, most of these cryptos just don't make it. And in comparison to cryptos that have withstood the test of time, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, even in their first bull market, they underperform Ethereum in its second or third bull market, just because the majority of cryptos do not perform well. Like, the odds are completely against you. So you have a lot of these projects coming in, and I think people that maybe missed out on Hex, they missed the 10,000X, or maybe they missed the Pulsechain sacrifice, and they want to feel like they're getting in on something new and something that's going to, give them great returns. I think they would tend to say to themselves, hey, Hex, it's already done a 10,000X, and these projects are new. I think I have a better opportunity with these new projects that are building on Hex or Pulsechain to outperform, Hex, because it's already done a 10,000X. There's no way it could continue to appreciate at this price. And the question you have to really ask if you are thinking of doing that, and obviously none of this is financial advice, it's completely my opinion, do your own research, is you have to ask yourself, do you believe that these projects are going to outperform Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX? While many of these developers would say that it's not a competitor, it's in a completely different market, or not only is it not a competitor to the Richard Hart ecosystem, in fact, it helps the Richard Hart ecosystem. It helps onboard, or helps pump the bags or incentivize the purchasing of his tokens. That may or may not be true. I think that depends perhaps on the project. But at the end of the day, you have to decide where you put your money. With the money that you're using to buy these new projects or to sacrifice to these new projects, you could have bought Hex, or you could have waited till Pulsechain launched and bought Pulsechain and PulseX, but you decided to buy these projects. And for me personally, this is not financial advice, obviously. This is just me personally speaking. I looked into most of these projects and I don't believe that that is the case. Why? I think, first of all, in general, the odds of a crypto making it is extremely, extremely low. The odds of a crypto being a scam is extremely, extremely high. Not to accuse any of these cryptos of being a scam or rug pull, but just in general, the crypto market is rigged with scams and rug pulls. There's no regulation. People live in countries offshore, often are anonymous. So there's already a chance of that. Then there is just the mere fact that the overwhelming majority of cryptos don't make it. And then even if it does make it, even if it is the small minority of cryptos that make it, that could last more than one cycle, if it underperforms Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX considerably, essentially these founders are taking away the opportunity that you have to get in on the Richard Heart ecosystem, because the money that would otherwise have gone into the Richard Heart ecosystem is now going to your project, which is likely going to underperform. And I think if you're a founder and if you really believe that you are presenting this opportunity to your community to get returns that are comparable or could even beat the Richard Heart ecosystem, then you should have the confidence and conviction to be able to separate yourself from the Richard Heart community. I'm saying you should be able to say, hey, maybe Hex is old, Pulsechain and PulseX are great, but I have this new token, which for this and this reason, you could explain the game theory, tokenomics, the meme, whatever it is. For this and this reason, I really believe that it has the opportunity to outperform. And then based on that, people can make their decisions as to whether or not they would want to participate in your community and in your project. When you look at people that created successful projects, you look at, for example, Vitalik. He believed that Ethereum was better than Bitcoin, and he separated himself from Bitcoin. He told Bitcoiners and his followers that what he has is the best project and is giving people the best opportunity. While he was mocked and ridiculed and called a scammer, even called a scammer till this day, he knew something that other people didn't, because he's a genius and he was rewarded greatly. Same thing with Charles Hoskinson. He separated himself from the Ethereum community. He believed what he was building is better. He still believes what he's building is better, and he was rewarded tremendously. And the same thing happened with Richard Heart and Bitcoin. He was originally a Bitcoiner. He decided, hey, Bitcoin's not good anymore. I'm going to create this project. Come with me. It's a great opportunity. He was completely ridiculed. He was mocked as a scammer for years, but he was a genius. He knew something that other people didn't, and it ended up paying up tremendously. So I think that if somebody is building on the Pulsechain or is building a new project on top of Hex or Pulsechain, if you want to build a successful project, if you want to create an ecosystem and a community, you need to separate yourself from the rest of crypto and have the conviction to say you are giving your community the greatest opportunity. Based on the fact that the overwhelming majority of these founders don't have the conviction to say that their token is the greatest opportunity and what they're building is novel and innovative, that already is indicative of as to whether or not these projects are going to make it. Then you have the fact that many of these projects are creating a token or have a website that uses the Pulsechain blue and pink colors, or the shape of their token is in the same hexagon as Hex. Originality and innovation is indicative of success. And the fact that these people need to piggyback on what Richard Heart created is again indicative that, in my opinion, in the future, it is not going to outperform. It is likely not going to succeed. I think if you look at the projects that were successful on Ethereum, they separated themselves from Ethereum in many ways. While they were built on Ethereum, they didn't add ETH to the ticker, right? You look at Chainlink, it's not called ETH Chainlink. And you look at, Axie Infinity, it's not called ETH Axie Infinity. And they created their own community. They created their own project that was innovative, that has never been seen before. And they were rewarded greatly. They've had tremendous success. And if people see that you're a knockoff, that you're essentially the Sam's Cola to Coca-Cola, it just rubs people the wrong way, and it's extremely unlikely to make it. If you still believe that this crypto that you're interested in, whether it's the one you're asking about or any other crypto that's being pitched to the Hex community, if you still believe that it has the opportunity, it has something new, despite all these things, despite the fact that most cryptos don't make it, despite the fact that they're essentially piggybacking on Richard Heart's street credit and brand and everything that he's built, and his logo and things like that, you still think that there's a possibility that this is the greatest opportunity, which, there's always that possibility, albeit I believe it's unlikely. Many of these founders are very transparent and open. They have telegrams, they have AMAs. Just ask these founders straight up, do you believe that your crypto has a chance of competing with and outperforming the Richard Hart ecosystem? And if yes, why? And if they could give a good answer for that, that lives up to your standard, you could allocate some of your capital there. Not financial advice, do your own research. But so far from what I've seen in comparison to the Richard Hart ecosystem, I can't see any that I could say with confidence that I believe is going to outperform Richard Hart and his projects. Not financial advice, do your own research. To summarize, I'd say in general, crypto, there's a huge possibility of being a scam or rug pull. Even if the project is transparent and open and honest and plans on building a serious ecosystem, the odds of them making it in crypto, just because crypto is so risky and most of these cryptos don't make it, is extremely, extremely low. And then even if you believe that is going to make it, the odds of not only making it, but the odds of outperforming Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX, which you probably see as an opportunity because you're watching this channel and you're probably watching other Hex channels because you know about these projects that are building on Pulsechain and PulseX, the odds of outperforming the Richard Hart ecosystem is extremely, extremely low, in my opinion, and not financial advice. If you believe that even so, it's still going to outperform the Richard Hart ecosystem, go to the Telegram or the AMAs of these founders, these new projects, and ask them if they believe that it has a chance of outperforming and why they believe that to be the case. But based on what my research and what I see, I think that Richard Hart's ecosystem is early. 2 of the 3 projects weren't released yet, and the one that has been released is down 90%. I believe that is where the opportunity is, and that's where I want to put my money. I know a lot of people are saying that it's necessary to build on Pulsechain in order to ensure the continuity of the project, but I believe that now is not the time. Pulsechain hasn't even been released yet. Layer 1 blockchains in their first bull market do not need any projects on it. And given the fact that it's new and its returns haven't diminished yet, I think the opportunity is with Pulsechain, in my opinion, not financial advice. And the time to build on it and give your community and your followers the opportunity to get one of the best returns on the market will be in 4 or 5 years, when the returns of Pulsechain diminish to the point where projects being built on it have the chance of outperforming. The example I give is with Ethereum, where you look at Chainlink and Axie Infinity and Aave and things like that. They've outperformed Ethereum in the past bull market, not because Ethereum wasn't a good project to hold, but just because they were newer projects and they have product market fit and they are innovative and they bring something new and they don't piggyback on what Vitalik says in the brand and the community that Vitalik has built. That's my opinion. None of this is financial advice. You have to do your own research. You have to make your own decision. Please check out my blog. I have an article on whether or not Hex bottomed, and obviously subscribe to my channel, like this video, and give it a comment. Thanks for watching.